Hello, I couldn't get it started. This Google YouTube platform has been jamming up lately on lives. Just won't start. Gets hung up. I have a beer I'm about to pour. I just cracked it open. It's called Rogue Dead Guy Imperial IPA. Dead Guy Imperial IPA, 9.6% alcohol, only 40 bitterness units, which to me is too low. Introduced in 2023. Started showing up here in 2024. It's bubbly orange gold. There appears to be haze, but it's not hazy. It's just that there's a big bunch of globs of sediment in it. You might notice that. I don't know if it'll show up. You can see the bubble streams. Let's see if it'll focus. Then you can see the yeah, I'm on Opera browser, and I tried to switch over to Google Chrome, but it didn't help any. It didn't do any better. So it's not the browser. I think it's the YouTube platform where it won't start doing live. But there it is. See all that sediment? White chunks. Weird, huh? I guess it's yeast chunks. I don't know what it is. John Anelia says, cheers, Ron. I've never heard of this one. I've had the regular Dead Guy Ale, but it's been many years. And Ronnie S says, this one sounds good. It's going to be good, you guys. Okay. Here's the screen share if you're watching. Some of y'all just listen like a podcast audio. I get it. Oh, wait. I got to bring up the link again. Sorry about that. Here we go. There's nothing to show. Only a screenshot of my screenshot. All right. Dead Guy Imperial India Pale Ale. Imperial IPA. 9.6% alcohol. 40 bitterness units. Look what it says. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. This enormous and balanced Imperial IPA will bury your taste buds in hoppy revel from the first sip right till the bitter end. So they're saying focus here in this star chart. It's tropical. Not so much citrus, not so much malt, not so much bitter, not so much. But there is a little bit more citrus, you'll notice. There's 2 links to citrus and all the links up to tropical. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. So somewhat citrus oriented, somewhat tropical oriented, but malty, bitter, and pine, not so much. And they're showing some photos. Somebody by a farm. Again by the farm. And even again by the farm, opening it up and spilling it, which I'm not planning to do. Waste. There's some awards. And they don't give you the ingredients. I'm actually watching this one as I'm home from work now, says John and Illy, and Ronnie says, me too. Okay. Putting on the lamps. This is preparatory to the whiskey taste challenge. I hope I'm not too out of it. When I do the whiskey taste challenge on my main channel, after this 9.6% big boy. Now, I only drank a light beer before this, Outlaw Mile High light beer. So welcome to my alternative channel, Anti-War. Isle of Fire, a.k.a. Stanley Wayne Rowe. Hi, Ronald J. Hello, Wayne. Welcome to Anti-War. Louisiana beer reviews on Anti-War. All right. It smells very tropical. And that's got to be coming from the malts. Look at that lacing, heavy. The flavor, tropical, some dank, like where they're going with that. I'm going to see what the legal disclosure is anywhere. Okay, here's the legal disclosure, which has to be on every alcoholic beverage. Imperial India Pale Ale. I think it has to be on any beverage, any product. Yeah, you have to tell what it actually is. You can use a fanciful name, but you have to have the actual technical name. I would say the bitterness is 3 out of 5. No, let me say that again. 3.5 out of 5 hop cones. 3.5 out of 5 hop cones. Bitterness. Maltiness, sorry. Repeating myself. Hey, just started sipping it. The sweetness, what you get from the malts usually. 2.5 out of 5 sugar cubes. 2.5 out of 5 sugar cubes. So it's midway sweet and elevated bitterness, but nowhere near like the old IPAs you remember from 10, 12 years ago that were like, if it would have been a 9.6, the IBUs would have been 96. No, man. Now they're just like alcohol bomb malt liquors. And this could be labeled a malt liquor if they wanted to label it that way. It doesn't have any real technical meaning. Malt liquor is another word for a beer, a strong beer. It's an alias name for a beer, actually. And that's why they came up with the name, to skirt beer laws that didn't allow beer to be above 5% alcohol. But the U.S. government was in on it, you see what I mean? To get around these like troublemaking neo-Puritans who would go around trying to shut down people drinking strong beer, which made no sense because they could go buy Jack Daniels, which was 90 proof. But the neo-Puritans, they're fanatics, and fanatics don't usually think about things thoroughly. They don't think it through. Ronnie S. says, this is a winner. It is. Medium body, high medium body, nearly heavy, and a mostly dry finish. This is a winner. And guess how much the 6-pack was? 6-pack of powerful IPA, 9.6% alcohol, all the way from Oregon. I've been to Oregon before. $5.99. Well, I'm not that. I can't brag on it that much. No, I'm afraid not. I wish it was. Although I think I can get an 8.5% IPA for not $5.99 for a 6-pack. Last time I checked, it was. Cheers, Louisiana Beer Reviews. Purchase some Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Ale. Oh, yes, I can get that. Hope you're having a good evening. Have you ever tried that product? Oh, my leg's itching. My leg is itching. Yes, I have, and I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. All right. Very tropical. Tropical fruit. Let's say fruit. Now, I'm not into the fruity IPAs that much, but I do like them. The bitterness is building on this. See, the 40 bitterness units can be deceptive. You might think, oh, nah, it's not going to be bitter, but it will build. It's pretty bitter. But the 90, if they had put 96 bitterness units around, it'd have really been up there. Don't know the malts, some kind of pale malts, obviously. Don't know the hops, some kind of tropical flavor hops, obviously, and a few bitter ones thrown in there to give it that. How would I score this? I think I have 3 cans left. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. It was $12.99 for the 6-pack. $12.99 for the 6-pack. So that's 13. Half of 13 is $6.50. $6.50 divided by 3. That's what? 2. Like $2.17. So $2.17 for a strong ale, India Pale Ale. That's not a bad deal these days. Some of these prices are exorbitant, outrageous, maddening, insane, crazy. Y'all know what I paid for the Penguin? I got 2 12-ounce cans for the Penguin. 2 12-ounce cans, regular cans like this. The Penguin from Martin House. Imperial, Super Imperial Stout with chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, and other flavors. I don't remember what they were. All kind of crazy. One of those pastry stouts, you know. You know what I paid for that? The Penguin. I was walking like a penguin after I drank it. 15% alcohol. 15. Let me repeat that. 15% alcohol. Oh no. Anyone want to guess? Anyone? 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 Going once? Going twice? Going. I paid $14.99 for the Penguin. $14.99. Now, is that a good deal? You know the answer. All right. I'm going to score this a solid A. This is a 9.4 out of 10. A solid A, 9.4 out of 10. And I'm unanimous in that. This is a really solid, enjoyable product. Now, I'm going to sip on it and do a few more things. I don't know what's going to happen when I do the whiskey review. If I'm kagu, if you watch my whiskey review and I'm kagu, you'll know why. So y'all take care. Cheers to Rogue Dead Guy Ale. Don't drink too many or you will be a dead guy. And I'm going to end this review by saying, Johnny Neely says, if I ever see this product, I'll give it a go. Do you think $12.99 is a fair price for the 6-pack? What do you think about that price, $12.99 for the 6-pack? I thought it was a good price, but this is me speaking because I find that some of these things are exorbitantly priced. $12.99 is a great deal for Imperial craft beer. Okay, thank you for that feedback. So you might be able to check their locator tool on their website. I know you're on the other side of the United States. Oregon is on the West Coast. You are on the East Coast. I think there's a highway that runs from Oregon all the way to Massachusetts. Is there not? Or is that Washington and Massachusetts? Let's see. Let me look at my map. It's a lot easier to look at a map than try to look it up on the internet. Let's see. There's Massachusetts, 90, Interstate 90. Oh, sorry, that goes to Washington State. Well, that's not too far away from Oregon. You could just, but there is a highway that runs across the whole United States, coast to coast, Interstate 90, west to east or east to west, depending on your direction. You're traveling Boston, Massachusetts, all the way to Seattle, Washington. Can you imagine? That would take a lot of driving to do that trip. It'd be a long excursion. But if you did it in the summertime, it might be fun. I wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't do it this time of year. So I don't know how widespread, what the whole point of that is, I don't know how widespread Rogue is in Massachusetts. We're only half the distance, you know. We're halfway across from Oregon, Louisiana. Halfway. Then you got another half to go. I mean, that's at an angle. I know northwest to southeast, but if you just lifted it up, still be halfway. And then you got halfway more to go to get to Massachusetts. All right. So anyway, we don't get a lot of Rogue products here anymore. It's kind of like dead guy. We used to get a whole lineup of Rogue. We'd get their pumpkin beer, Santa's Private Reserve, Christmas beer, and all kind of Rogue. Crazy donut pumpkin beer. Remember that donut bacon beer? It was a pink glazed donut bacon beer, which I never tried because the price for that was probably the same as the 6-pack of this. And that was for a 22-ounce bomber. I was like, no thanks. But then Rogue started to fade badly. And literally the only rogue beer we get in my parish, we don't have counties in Louisiana, we have parishes like Jamaica. Jamaica's like Louisiana. It's divided into parishes. Louisiana's divided into parishes. Uh, but we only get the Dead Guy Imperial IPA, which I'm pleased with. I can go to Total Wine and More in the city, New Orleans, and Total Wine has Dead Guy Imperial IPA, but they want too much for it. And they have the Dead Guy ale, you know, the regular one, Doppelbock, which is not an ale, it's a lager. So I don't know what I call it ale. It's probably mimicking a lager. And then, but that's it. That's pretty much it. A few places do sell. Oh yeah, they sell that honey Kolsch. I think it's a honey Kolsch. But nah, Rogue has faded so terribly bad. But I can name 20 others. I can name 20 others off the top of my head that have faded away completely. So I'm not even going to go into that. Johnny Neely says, I haven't seen any Rogue brews in Massachusetts, but I might be able to find some at Total Wine and More. Yes, I remember that Voodoo Donut beer with bacon. Now, Johnny Neely, do y'all get any Treehouse beers in Massachusetts? Is that a brewery that you might be familiar with? Treehouse? Perhaps you've heard of it. We don't get that in Louisiana. It's just a brewery that I've heard a lot about from certain channels. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. John and Ilya says, haha, yeah, I get some Treehouse stuff. I wish they would distribute down here. We don't get Hop Butchered for the World either. Some guy approached me on Facebook talking about, oh man, I love your reviews. They're the best. I'm like, oh, really? He said, I'd love to send you some Hop Butcher for the World beers. I was like, oh, okay. And automatically alarm bells went off. I'm like, I don't know if this guy's for real. He's like, I'm driving to Chicago and I'm going to pick up a whole pack. And he did send me a photo of his trunk full of Hop Butcher for the World. And I was like, well, okay, I appreciate it. I gave him my address and then I waited. It was like a week went by and I was like, now this guy says he lives in Moss Point, Mississippi. That would take one day. Literally, if he sent it on a Tuesday from Mississippi, it would arrive here on a Wednesday. Right? Like, because I could drive to Mississippi in one hour or maybe an hour and a half. So I'm knowing right there something not right. Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna send it. I'm like, okay. Another week goes by, nothing. Well, I start putting the pressure on him. I start leaning in. And I knew what was going to happen. I'm not stupid. I'm not living in a dream world. I'm not living in a material world. And of course, the expected thing happened. He suddenly blocked me on Facebook. I was like, this guy's a fake. He's probably not even the real person. It's probably not it's probably not even his real name. But oh man, all these fakers out there. But I did get the beer from Outlaw Mile High Light Beer. Outlaw Mile High Light Beer of Colorado, Littleton, Colorado. I think it's Littleton or it's one of the other towns. They sent me a sweatshirt, 2 t-shirts, 2 caps, a coaster where you put the beer so it doesn't mess up your furniture, which that was a ripoff. That $8.95 for that little dinky thing. But they sent it to me for free. And then David got 2 caps. David got a cap, 2 t-shirts, a sweatshirt. Oh yeah, we were in hog heaven. Then they sent all the beer, $100 worth of Outlaw Mile High beer. And we've been giving it to people. And the whole project was they wanted me to give it to people and see what they thought about it. I gave it to 2 people so far. Those 2 guys told me it's okay, average. I said, score it. They said a C, average. They would not buy it again. Honest assessment. I'm sorry, Outlaw, but I told those guys, I said, you have to call it as you see it. Not you don't up score it because it was free, and they agreed. So, and there was a third guy. I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know what he's going to score it. But there was about a month delay, like literally a 3 week to a month delay getting the beer because Outlaw, they couldn't figure out how to send it. I talked to their CEO. We did an online, what you call that, the Zoom, Zoom, and he's like, man, we want to send you this beer, but it wasn't because they were just generous. I mean, they were, I guess, but they wanted to send me the beer so I would give it to people and try to push it. You know what I mean? And that he said, well, what do you think's the best way to do that? I said, well, in 2009, Schlitz approached me. They just, oh no, Schlitz had a program on their website back when their website actually worked. And you could sign up for it and they would send you $50 worth of beer, which $50 will buy a lot of Schlitz beer, and definitely in 2009, but still today. So I signed up. I thought, I'll never hear from them. They contacted me in like 2 days and they were like, oh, you really want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. So the guy with Schlitz was like, okay, I'm going to send you this gift card. And then you just send me the receipt showing that you bought Schlitz beer with it. I could have just took the money and run, but I did that. I took screenshots, sending the receipts. Oh yeah, that's great. And then we went, the whole deal was they're going to send me the $50 worth of Schlitz beer, but we had to go to like a football game. So I said, what if we go to the Tulane football games of the Superdome and they got, thousands of people coming to the parking lot and we could prop the cases of beer up on the cars. And when they come, we could let them try it. He was like, oh yeah, that's an awesome idea. So we did that and we took photos and people were trying it. And most everybody was like, oh man, this is so good. And a lot of people were saying, oh man, I used to drink that back in the 70s. That stuff was good. And we had like an incredible amount of people wanting to drink Schlitz beer outside the Superdome. And so those cases of beer, those 24-pack suitcases, they were gone. And, before the game started, they're all gone, wiped out. And we had one negative guy say, I don't drink that blank. You get crazy people like that, But all they did was send me a gift card in the mail, a Visa gift card. And I went to the store and I bought it. But like Outlaw couldn't figure out how to do it. They're like, what do you think we should do? And I was like, well, Schlitz just sent me a gift card. Oh, and they were trying to order it from the store. And this chain store, it's a chain, it has many locations. The man kept telling me, I was calling, they told me they're out of it. I said, man, they got like 7 12-packs on the shelf and like 8 6-packs. He's like, well, the lady keeps telling me they're out of it, out of stock. And now I realize he's calling the wrong store. He was like literally calling the wrong store in the store chain. He probably just looked it up on the internet, Mathern's, and he was calling the wrong store. I was like, I'm looking at the beer on the shelf. It is not out of stock. I'm like literally looking at the beer. So finally they sent me a gift card, like I told them the first day. And in like 5 minutes, I ordered the beer online. I went over to the store, which is only 1 mile away, and I picked up a lot of Outlaw, $100 worth of Outlaw. So they were like, oh man, you did it. They were so happy. I'm like, yeah, I could have done this like a month ago. Oh my goodness. Okay, last comments. Then we'll be jumping back to the main channel, and then we got to do the whiskey taste challenge. Whiskey, I'm gonna be like all of this. But don't blame me though. Blame them, but don't blame me. Johnny Nilly says, I can still get Schlitz at a single store about 4 miles from my house. 6-packs of brown bottles. Oh, yes. Now, I can get 12 packs of Schlitz, 12 packs at Mathern's. They come in fresh about, once a week, every 2 weeks. $11.99 for the 12-pack. Now, I don't know if that's a good deal relative to Massachusetts. I don't know. I don't know what you're paying for 6-pack. But $11.99 for 12 packs. That price has been there. They've had that price for about 5 years. Hadn't changed 5 years. And Ballantine's Triple X. I can also get 12 packs of, Ballantyne Triple X, they said they're closing it out. They're going to cut it. Maybe they changed their mind, but they said they're discontinuing it. Because Pabst, they're crazy. I can also get 12 packs of Molson Triple X Brown bottles. No, never seen in Louisiana, ever. The malt liquor selection up here is not great, though. It's not great here. There is a presence here, of course. I miss my King Cobra and Old English 800 brand malt liquor, 40s and 42-ounce bottles that are regularly got in Georgia. $9.99 for 6 packs. Oh, oh no. Yeah, that can't match the $11.99 for the 12 pack. Sorry, John and Neil A. That's not too cool. I know y'all had a nice visit with Michael Komaroff last year in Brooklyn, New York. Your first visit to Brooklyn, New York. Can you believe I drove to his house twice? Could it happen again? He needs to drive to my house. All right, anyway, so now we're going to close this out. This beer, which scores an A, a beautiful product, an A, solid A, most excellent beer. And wish me luck, wish me the best, because now, against all good advice, oh my goodness, I'm going to jump back to the main channel, and now we're going to set up an American blended whiskey taste challenge. It is going to be Kentucky Gold, introduced in 1956, Kentucky Gold American blended whiskey versus that other one that I had that I can't remember the name, but another one. Oh, I know what it is. It's Seagram's 83. That's going to shock some people, because a lot of people are about to catch a heart attack because they never heard of Seagram's 83 in the United States. Oh yeah, we're going to check that. That's been around about 3 years now. Been on the market about 3 years, but it's been in Canada on the market for like 90 years. All right. Well, see y'all over there. Stick around because I'm about to jump over there. All right. Bye-bye, y'all.